Hi everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another video at my YouTube channel and blog. Today I'm going to be showing you this watercolor coloring book, and it's from Prima, and all of the images inside are foiled. Half of the book is in silver foil and the other half is in gold. And the images are really beautiful. I showed a kind of a sneak peek of this book in my last video on Friday, and I wanted to break it out and do a little bit of painting on maybe one or two of the images just to try it out and see how it works. So I thought I would show you each one of the pages before I get started and flip through and show you all the different images. I really like that all of them are floral because I don't know about you guys who like to watercolor, but I find myself really drawn to watercolor flowers, and I really love to paint them. And it's hard to freehand paint them, especially if you haven't had a lot of experience drawing flowers or floral images. So having these already on the page, foiled, ready to go, it's a great way to experience watercoloring flowers. And in particular, I really like that these are foiled because the foil is a really slick surface, and so it repels and resists any of the watercolor you put on top. So it's a little bit like when you use a heat embossed image and then watercolor over the top. It's a little bit like that because it will kind of keep your colors contained within the shape, but then also it's more flat. So you won't have the same kind of like mountains and valleys and barriers as you would with heat embossing. So this is kind of fun. At the very back of the book, I wasn't expecting this. They have some postcards that are printed, and you can paint them and cut them out and send them to friends or family. They also have some smaller tags and with a lot of different sayings, and some just have flowers or lines. And then they have some tags and bookmarks. So I thought that was just really cool. I didn't even realize that these were in the back of the book. It's kind of like a little extra bonus. So I'm going to go back to one of the postcards, and that's the image or the project that I'm going to be working on today. I'm going to work on the top one right here. So I've just cut that sheet in half, so I'm only working with one of the postcards, and I've taped it down to a hard board, and this is going to help the paper to dry flat after I'm done painting. So I put down some clean water, and now I'm just bringing in some color that was already in my palette. I'm using my Mission Gold watercolors from Magello, and I tend to not clean off the palette after I'm done using it. I just let the colors dry, and then I can reactivate them with more water the next time I'm painting. So that's exactly what I did this time. I just used the colors that were already there. So I have no idea what colors I mixed to make those colors, but I think it's kind of fun. So I'm adding some soft colors, kind of like a soft gold green, and then also more of that kind of muted kind of aqua color, and I'm using that as some nice soft watercolor around the flowers and also filling in the gaps between the flowers. I used my heat tool to speed up the drying process, but if you don't have a heat tool that's specifically for heat embossing, you could definitely use a hair dryer or something like that. That would definitely speed up the process. I'm now painting the leaves that are in these little clusters, and I'm dropping in a couple different colors of green, a lighter green and a more intense green, just to get a little bit of a different color shift. I then took a nice golden yellow color and added that to the centers of the smaller flowers. And then I'm going to grab some red and I'm going to bring that in and add it around the outer edge of the flowers. And it's going to pull some of that yellow to the edge and have a nice mix of color on the paper. I like to do this, especially on flowers, because it gives a more organic color change. So this paper from Prima, you guys, if you've watched my videos in the past, you might know it's not my most favorite. I'm not the hugest fan of this paper, but you know what? Painting this with the foil and doing really simple painting, it doesn't really bother me too much right now. And that the soft colors I used for the background, I really love how that dried. I think that turned out really well. And so I don't hate it in this coloring book. I don't know, I'm sure it's the same paper. I doubt that they've changed it, but if they have, I noticed the difference. I have no idea why. I think part of why I'm really loving it is that for the most part, the images in the coloring book are really wide and open, and so you have a larger surface area to kind of work with the paper, and you can do a nice wash of color, let it dry, and then do another wash of color on top. So I think maybe that might be why I like this a little bit more. Granted, the painting I'm doing today is one of the postcards, so the images are smaller, so I'm not sure how that would come into play. So I finished all my painting, and I'm just hitting that with my heat tool once again to speed up the drying. And you can see in the light that that gold foil is so pretty. I love those really kind of faint watercolory colors and washes on this postcard. I thought it was really, really pretty. So I'm using some scissors to trim out the postcard, and then I'm going to address it. I'm just going to grab some ink, and then I'll add someone's address on there. So I'm using some Sepia Bombay ink from Dr. P.H. Martin's, and I put that into a smaller container, and I'm using my pointed pen nib and a pen holder from inkmethis.com. You guys have seen this particular pen holder in the past in previous videos, and it's one of my favorites. I really love how it works, and I've just been really in love with it recently. So this is another address that was shared with me on Facebook. Not too long ago, I asked you guys if you had an address that you were comfortable sharing with me and that I could possibly use in a video. And Kathleen shared her address, and I thought I would just send her this fun postcard. So I'm adding some little swirls and swooshes, and then here is her complete address. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. You can purchase this foil watercoloring book at simonsaystamp.com or at Amazon. As usual, I will have them linked down in the video description below or in the show more section at YouTube, and also at my blog in the supply section. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.